Alright, so in case most of you aren't aware, I posted on my Twitter page after getting Rozaliya by pushing the supply to its next guarantee with crystals I got from the DRXC and events. So I'm trying to be a little more active there, but social media isn't something I'm really good with, so yeah, I understand most people aren't actually visiting my Twitter page or Facebook page, and I haven't really been updating it a lot, so there's nothing much for you to be visiting, but I'm still trying. But anyway, we also recently got the Swan Lake banner, which came with Michelangelo. So I finally got my chance to get Michelangelo T, and also managed to get Swan Lake within like 30 pulls, which is great, because I was prepared to like go crazy on it, but I didn't have to. So I'm not sure what the general impression of the Island Neva twins are at this moment, but I haven't really been using much of them. One thing I want to ascertain before rolling them out is Rozaliya's equipment, because, you know, she's the main DPS. So according to the banner, we know Nobel is supposed to be her signature Stigmata set, but the other popular and possibly better option is set to be Michelangelo. Thanks to the Swan Lake banner, I now have T and B for both sets. Incidentally, I lack M on both sets, so we are going to go with Plank M, which honestly should be the better option. Though I would like to know if Nobel's 3 set is as good as it sounds, given that it provides a 30% boost in critical damage, but the M part doesn't have much going for it, so I'm gonna say it's not worth the effort. At least not for me. Alright, the test stage will be an unweakened Red Lotus for 2 58 Disturbance boss, who for this time is going to be Wendy. Going with full support, Lilia, because she is great at activating the Beethoven 2 set ability, and Yamabuki armor will be placed in the team. For the sake of this test though, I will be deactivating the Augment Core and actually will not be switching anyone else in. Alright, so on the left is Nobel and on the right is Michelangelo, and they both did a 28 hit combo without landing the first hit of the spin because Wendy was too high up. So don't worry, I'll play them later again by themselves so you can check on the numbers, but for now, we're gonna have a look at how they did. So Nobel activates an additional hit per second, and it procs every 4 hits, so that also means Rozaliya is striking at 4 hits per second. I was kinda concerned that critical hits would get in the way and make it harder to calculate, but if we don't count the crit from Nobel's passive, they both crit 6 times. So I didn't expect their results to be this close. Nobel beat out Michelangelo with 1,224 damage, but if we consider the damage variation, I'd say they're pretty much equal. I think it's safe to say that if we were to only compare the charge attack, Nobel's full set would definitely come out on top. That being said, Rozaliya does take a considerable amount of time to recover from her spinning, making the use of normal attacks unavoidable. With that in mind, I'd skew towards Michelangelo. One thing I have to admit though, I'm not sure if I'm getting their playstyle right, because it seems like the twins aren't really dishing out damage, or at least the kind of damage I'd be expecting in a sustained fight. I replaced Yamabuki armor with Celestial Hymn for a stronger impaired debuff, better shield breaking, and critical rate buff. And I gotta say, I was expecting a little more out of an S-based Valkyrie, especially since we're being introduced to like this new battle mechanic where one of the other teammates is kind of actively buffing the main DPS. Yeah, so not really impressive. You know, it doesn't have to be like super strong or anything, but at least up to a certain standard, you know what I'm saying? For now, I can't really tell where the twins will come in handy, so I think it's safe to say that if you're unable to or have decided not to pull for this banner, there isn't much you're missing out on, at least for now. As far as I know, I've only seen stuff in the Memorial Arena, which, while impressive, they still lose out to the existing strategies. Rozaliya does have an extremely powerful leader skill at Triple S, but aside from that, I find myself struggling to keep up in combat. She doesn't have enough mobility when spinning, and it's really easy for opponents to get away from it. And spinning, which is her main form of attack, also leaves her vulnerable, which is why a lot of her equipment is focused on lowering incoming damage. It also seems like the developers are well aware of this, and have given Lilia the passive ability to save Rozaliya once in combat if she were to take a fatal hit. I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm actually a lot more impressed by Lilia because even though she's a support, she can actually deal quite a lot of damage, making her more of a sub-DPS if you will. One last thing to note is that their team skills actually have passives, So they passively buff each other for like a 25% total damage multiplier. And also, Rozaliya, her team skill actually provides a 100% crit rate for 8 seconds. So that's pretty impressive. I could see it being useful in some stages, but that's pretty much it. So I guess if you do have some spare resources, you could go for their weapons because they do have pretty impressive stats. So that might be worth pulling for. Also, you know, it could be convenient that because the twins are greatsword wielders, they'll be useful in the Memorial Arena where you need the DXY sword or Blood Dance. But other than that, I can't really see a use for them at the moment, which I'm actually okay with. I can't say I'm disappointed because, like, when the Herrscher of the Void was released, I was a little bit afraid because games usually take a bad turn when game-breaking characters enter the fray, but Honkai seems to have kept up pretty well. So the two things that usually happen are that characters less important or weaker in the story, but are released later, end up being stronger in-game, and the gameplay doesn't properly reflect the story. So some of you might be okay with this, but for me, nah, not really. The other thing that usually happens is that characters become increasingly OP with each release, and balancing basically goes out the window. So neither of these has happened, and I really appreciate that. Also, like everyone else, I'm currently buying Rozaliya's fragments weekly, so she'll get to double S in about a month, and if she gets a significant power spike, I'll probably do a video on that, but for now, I guess my thoughts are that the twins are okay, you don't really have to get them. And if you guys have a better way of using the twins, please do share it in the comments section. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this fight, which was done on the 4th floor, so you get a look at how they fare in a non-boss environment. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. So thanks for watching, and remember to gacha responsibly.